Chapter to the situation. Push, push, push. Zhou Mingrui was so frightened by the scene that he took a few steps back, as if the mirror was not himself, but a mummified corpse. How could someone with such a severe wound still be alive? He turned his head in disbelief and examined the other side. Even at a long distance, and in a dim light, he could still see the presence of penetrating wounds and deep red blood. Zhou Mingrui took a breath and tried to calm himself. He reached down to the left side of his chest and felt his heart beating hard, fast, and alive. I touched the exposed skin again, and the warm flow was covered by the slight coldness. After squatting down to verify that his knees could still bend, Zhou Mingrui stood up again, no longer so flustered. "What's the matter?" He frowned and whispered, intending to examine the head wound carefully again. After 2 steps forward, he suddenly paused again, because the light of the blood moon outside the window was relatively dim, not enough to support a serious examination of the matter. A shard of memory came out, and Zhou turned his head to the wall next to his desk, a wall lamp surrounded by gray pipes and metal grates. This is the current mainstream gas lamp. Fireworks stability, lighting effect is excellent. Originally to Klein Moriarty's family situation. Not to mention gas lamps. Even kerosene lamps should not expect. The use of candles is in line with the status of the performance. But for years ago, he stayed up late to study for Hoi University entrance exam struggle. Brother Benson that this is an important thing for the future of the family, even if the debt to create good conditions for him. Of course, Benson, who has been reading and working for several years, is definitely not reckless, lacking in means, and does not consider the consequences. He fooled the landlord into paying for the basic renovation on the ground. That installing gas pipes is beneficial to improving the grade of the apartment and contributing to the future rental. And he got the new gas lamp at nearly cost price by virtue of the convenience of working for the import and export company. I only used my savings and didn't ask for money. As debris flickered past, Zhou returned to his desk, opened the pipe valve, and twisted the gas light switch. The sound of friction and ignition continued to ring, but the light did not come as Zhou Mingrui expected. Da-da-da-da. He twisted a few more times, but the gas lamp was still dim. Well, pulling back his hand and pressing down on his left temple, Zhou Mingrui extracted fragments of memory and looked for the cause of things. After a few seconds, he turned and walked to the door, to the same mechanism set into the wall and connected by the same gray pipes. It's a gas meter. Looking at a few exposed gears and bearings, Zhou Mingrui pulled out a coin from his trouser pocket. It was dark yellow and shimmering with copper, engraved with the head of a man wearing a crown on the front and the word 1 surrounded by wheat on the back. Zhou Mingrui knows that this is the most basic currency of the Kingdom of Rune. Called copper penny, the actual purchasing power of 1 penny is about equivalent to 3 or $4 before his crossing. The value of this coin has 5 pence, half pence, and quarter pence, 3 kinds. But it is still not fine enough in daily life or from time to time to buy things. After turning his copper penny, issued only when King George III was enthroned, several times with his fingertips, Zhou twirled it and slipped it into the long, vertically open mouth of the gas meter. Ding dong, as penny fell to the bottom inside the meter. The click and click of the gears began to play out a short but beautiful mechanical melody. Zhou Mingrui stared for a few seconds, then returned to the wood-colored desk and reached out to twist the gas light switch. Da-da, da-da, da-da. A fire broke out and grew rapidly, and the bright light first took over the interior of the wall lamp, then passed through the clear glass and imbued the room with a warm color. Darkness suddenly shrank away, crimson out of the window. Zhou Mingrui inexplicably at ease a few points, quickly came to the mirror. This time, he carefully examined the temple position, not missing a single detail. After several comparisons, he found that in addition to the initial bloodstains, the hideous wound did not flow out of the liquid, as if it had been the best hemostasis and bandaging, and the slowly creeping gray brain and the flesh of the wound, growing at a visible speed, indicated the arrival of healing, maybe 30 or 40 minutes. Maybe 2 or 3 hours, there would be only shallow traces. The healing effects of time travel? Joe Mingrui turned down the right corner of his mouth and whispered silently. Then he let out a long breath. For whatever reason, at least he was still alive. Gathering his mind, he pulled a drawer, pulled out a small bar of soap, and removed one of the tattered towels hanging next to the cupboard. Then he opened the door and walked to the bathroom shared by the tenants on the second floor. Well, the blood on the head has to be dealt with so that it doesn't always look like a crime scene. It doesn't matter if you scare yourself, but if you scare your sister Melissa, who has to get up early tomorrow, it won't end well. The corridor outside was dark, except for the crimson moonlight from the window at the far end, which barely raised the outline of objects like monstrous eyes staring silently at the living in the deep night. Joe Mingrui eased his steps and walked to the bathroom with a little fear. Into the inside, the moonlight is more prosperous. Everything is clear up. Joe Mingrui stood in front of the washing table, unscrewed the tap. There was a clatter in his ears, and suddenly he thought of Mr. French, his landlord. Because the water bill is included in the rent, the short, skinny man in a top hat, waistcoat, and black suit always makes an active visit to the several bathrooms, listening in on the sound of running water. If there had been a great crash, Mr. French would have been ungentlemanly, violently swinging his stick, and struck the bathroom door, exclaim, "Damn thief! Waste is a shame! I remember you. If I see you again, get your filthy bags and get out. Trust me, this is the best apartment deal in Jenningen, and you won't find a more generous landlord." Recovering his thoughts, Joe Mingrui wet the towel and washed the blood from his face again and again. After looking at the tattered mirror of the bathroom and confirming that only the hideous wounds and pale face remained, Joe Mingrui relaxed a lot, then took off his linen shirt and rubbed the blood with the help of soap. Just then, with a frown, he remembered that there might be other trouble. Few wounds are exaggerated. The blood is extensive, and there should be traces in the room besides himself. A few minutes later, Joe Mingrui disposed of the linen shirt, took a wet towel, and hurried home. First wiped the bloody handprints on the desk, and then relied on the glow of the gas lamp to look for other remnants. This search, he immediately found a lot of blood spatter on the floor and the bottom of the desk and the left wall. There is a yellow bullet. Put a revolver to the temple and fire a shot? The clues suddenly came together, and Mingrui Joe probably figured out how Klein died. He did not rush to verify, but first carefully wiped off the bloodstains, processed the scene, and then took the bullet, returned to the desk, opened the revolver to the left, and poured out the bullets inside. Bam, bam, bam. 5 bullets, 1 shell, all shiny brass. Sure enough, Joe Mingrui looked at the empty shell casings and nodded slightly as he shoved the bullets back into the wheel one by one. He looked to the left at the words written in his open notebook. Everyone dies, including me, and more doubts followed. Where'd you get Thegan? Suicide, or make it look like suicide? What could a common-born history graduate get into? How does a suicide like this leave such a bloody mark? Because I traveled in time and came with healing benefits? After a moment of reflection, Joe Mingrui changed into another linen shirt and sat down in a chair to think about more important things. What happened to Klein is not the focus of his concern at the moment. The real problem is to figure out why the time travel can wear back. Parents, relatives, best friends, colorful online world, all kinds of food. It's all about wanting to go back. Pop, pop, pop. Minrua Joe's right hand unconsciously flailed the pistol runner and put it back again and again. Well, this period of time is not much different from the past, but a little unlucky. How could it be inexplicably crossed? Bad luck. By the way, I did a transfer ceremony before dinner tonight. A flash of lightning flashed through Zhou Mingrui's mind, illuminating his memory that had been obscured by fog. As a qualified keyboard politician, keyboard historian, keyboard economist, keyboard biologist, keyboard folklographer, he has always claimed to know a little bit of everything. Of course, his close friends often ridicule is a little bit of everything. And magic is one of them. Back home last year, in the old bookstall, found a linear vertical version of the Qin and Han Dynasty asceticism notes. Looking very interesting. Think it helps to install Force on the internet, so I bought it back. Unfortunately, interest comes fast. Go fast. Vertical version let people read very poor. He only turned the beginning, threw the book into the corner. Until the recent month of continuous bad luck. Lost mobile phones, customers ran away, work mistakes, and bad things came in turn. It was accidentally remembered that there was a transfer ceremony at the beginning of the magic summary, and the requirements were extremely simple, without any foundation. Just make four portions of the main food in the area. Put them in the four corners of the room, which can be on the table, cabinet, and other places. And then stand in the center of the room and walk out of a square counterclockwise with 4 steps. The first step sincerely recite Fu Shengjuan Huang Xian Zun. The second step silently recite Fu Shengjuan Huang Jian Zhen. The third step silently recite Fu Shengjuan Huang God. The fourth step silently recite Fu Shengjuan Huang Jian Zun. After you finish walking, close your eyes and wait in place for 5 minutes, and the ceremony is considered successful. With the mindset of not having any money, I dug out the book myself and did it before dinner, as requested, and yet, however, nothing happened at that time. Who knows, in the middle of the night, he actually crossed through. It's definitely possible that the transfer ceremony, well, try it on here tomorrow. And if it's because of it, then hopefully I can wear it back. Zhou Mingrui stopped shaking his revolver and sat upright. Anyway, I will make a try.